Hi, this is Kerry Garrison with Learn Davinci Resolve, and today we're going to be looking at the fascinating world of curves. So stay right there, we'll be right back. Now, a brief little history for some of you who may not know kind of the background of Davinci Resolve. Well, for years, years, decade or more, Davinci Resolve has been used as a color grading tool. It didn't even have all the NLE, the nonlinear editing tools that we have today. This is all fairly new in just the last couple of years. But for many years, Davinci was the way to do color grading. Whether you were coming from Avid or Premiere or Final Cut, you would then take that footage, bring it into Resolve, do your color grading, and then go back. Well, now we have all the editing tools built in. We really don't need to be using those other tools. Now, there's still reasons to do it, if you really like those tools. And some people still do this round trip, even though some of the tools like Premiere and Final Cut have had vast improvements in their color grading to come very close to what Resolve can do. And in some cases, pretty much exactly. Davinci Resolve was the color grading tool. And one of the things that really set it apart was the curves. And we'll talk about curves right now. If you've coming from Photoshop, then you're familiar with curves, where you have your highlights and shadows, and you can do nice little S curves. You can put drops on them here, and we can adjust, to our heart's content. With Resolve, we can then also just go to the red, green, or blue, or luminance, and adjust things like that. Here I can just adjust the red values, make the whole thing more red or blue or green or whatever color I want. So I'm going to reset that. So there's some really cool stuff just with the basic curves like this. But where Resolve really was way ahead, and really up until just recently with Final Cut, was in these different curves. So I'm going to go through them so I can show you how they work, and show you how they can really be used effectively for different things. And let's start with hue versus hue. Now what we're doing is the left side, this hue, loom, sat, that is our target. And then the right side of that versus the hue, saturation, luminance, saturation, and saturation are going to be basically our adjustments. So if I go to hue versus hue, and I'm going to pick like this green right here. Now what you see on this graph down here is it selects the color that I chose. And since I'm doing hue versus hue, my selection on the left was the hue, the green, and my target is going to be the right side. So now I can choose a different color. So notice up here that as I change the value down in the bottom left, I'm actually changing that color in there. So this can work pretty well depending on what you're doing. If someone has a yellow jacket, you want to make it a purple jacket, things like that. And it can be really powerful. I mean, you can see right here that, it's not affecting any of the other colors because there's enough color separation. Now, if I open this up, which is my selection range, and I come over here, now you can start seeing that I can affect more things. So I'm actually affecting the blue and the green somewhat. If I open it up even more, now I can really start fiddling with some colors, fine-tuning colors, maybe selecting skin tones, and I want to bring them into their own color range. Maybe they're just the skin tones are too orangey, I want to bring them down. So this is a good way of doing that. So we'll go to the next one and go hue versus saturation. So I'm going to select one of the colors, and I can adjust the saturation of that. So if I bump it up, we should get some brighter, more vibrant color out of it. If I pull it down, it's going to go into grayscale. So see that? Hue versus saturation. This isn't one that I use very often, except for dealing with shadows. Oftentimes I might get too much of a bluish tint in the shadows, and this is a great way of bringing those shadows back to just gray. All right, we'll go to the next one, hue versus luminance. So again, I'm going to pick the yellow this time, and we can adjust the luminance, how bright that color is. So I can take it all the way down to black, or I can really make that yellow pop. And in fact, I can wash it out because I can get that luminance so high. Sometimes I just want to make the color pop a little bit more, and I can add a little bit of luminance to a particular color. Okay, we'll move to the next one. Luminance versus saturation. So now I can pick how bright something is and adjust the saturation of it. So I chose that green. So it's kind of like doing the hue versus saturation depending on what it is, but oftentimes it's going to be a broader range of things. So luminance versus saturation, I can't think of any time that I've used this particular one. I'm sure there's cases, otherwise they wouldn't be here. And saturation versus saturation. So I can pick a particular saturation amount and adjust it. Now, because these are all fairly saturated the same, then it's going to have a broader impact across this whole scale. You can see how this one works. So these types of curves are really, really powerful in terms of getting a look that you want, getting the colors to be exactly right. Even though you may put a LUT on something, it may not give you exactly what you're looking for. You just want to tweak individual colors or certain color ranges and adjust the palettes a certain way. And these curves within Davinci Resolve, these are the way to do it. Very, very handy tools. So hope you enjoyed that, and hopefully you can play around with the curves and find the things that you like and how to apply them to the looks that you're trying to get. If you've done something really cool with curves, post a video response. Let's see what you've done with it. Let's share it with the community, and everyone can learn from each other, which I think is really, really cool with all you guys sharing your knowledge in the comments and things. So thanks for watching, everybody. This has been Kerry with Learn Davinci Resolve. If you like these videos, be sure and hit that like button. If you don't, well, hit the dislike twice. I don't care. That's fine. And be sure and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to get notified whenever I put out a new video. And always, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.